Story coming out of Clayton County, Georgia. Beauty Mart evicted, and the people weren't allowed to take the items dumped out on the public parking lot. See what they have to say.
Is making headlines across Metro Atlanta. 2 businesses evicted in one day. The businesses are not connected. They are in 2 separate counties, different jurisdictions. This is video from an evicted beauty mart in the Terra Crossing Shopping Center on Upper Riverdale Road in Clayton County. Hundreds of people showed up Wednesday afternoon to try to take home merchandise. We're told the beauty supply store was evicted over owing $15,000 in back rent. Law enforcement had to tape off the area, blocking people from taking anything.
We like free stuff, so we came out here to get all this free stuff, but then the car saying you can't get the free stuff because the people want to take it. And how y'all gonna take some stuff that ain't even yours? It's free.
So I got my 2 baskets, take the bus or whatever, we get out here, we get some free stuff.
We're already in a recession, times are hard. Why not just let us get the items and invest and be okay? We are Black women, we care about our crown. Why not give back to the community and let us get the products? Let us get the tools, any other eviction.
There was a similar scene outside the Red Martini restaurant and lounge in Buckhead. We saw people take furniture, refrigerators, and bottles of alcohol left outside. Wow. This caused such a frenzy that traffic was backed up on the streets around the club. We spoke to one security guard who told us this stemmed from a dispute over who owns the building. We are still working to confirm why the club was forced to leave the building this way. To read more about...
Okay, let's go back a little ways.
The evictions, head to 11alive.com and search the story there.
Hold on 1 minute, everybody.
You'll find it on
I'm trying to get back. They're not letting me go back. Hold on. Wow, wow, wow. This is crazy, crazy. 2 stores.
Homepage.
Okay, so. Oh my goodness, goodness, goodness. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. This is what I don't understand. Why didn't the business owners, whoever owned the beauty mart, let's say, why didn't you go get your items out of the store? You had to have been given a time slot by the person who owns the shopping center when to be out of the store. And if he or she took you to court, then you got a date by the judge to be out of the store, have your merchandise items out of the store. So why not adhere to whoever told you to get out of the store, the date? Why leave all that merchandise there? That's money gone. Money you've invested in building a business. Don't know how long the business was around. Don't know what really happened. But this is ridiculous on every front, because I can't understand why anyone who would have a business would allow their items to be thrown out by law enforcement. And then the crazy part is the people weren't allowed to take the items because the law says people have a right to come retrieve their items, which I believe it's a similar law here in Tennessee, such as if you're evicted from your apartment, your house, even if you don't get your things out by the due date mandated by the court, the items aren't supposed to be touched up until maybe 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, in the business day. So then after business day, which is 4 or 5 p.m., if the items are still sitting outside on the curb, on the lawn, people have the right then to go take your items, your furniture, your TVs, whatever you had inside your house or your business. So I'm assuming the law is similar here down in Georgia. But as you heard the one girl saying, well, they ain't here. They ain't here, so we want this stuff. See, this makes no sense to me, because common sense would tell anybody putting out merchandise to outside of a door. Somebody's going to want that. Somebody's going to see it, eye it, and assume it's free. Why would they not assume it's not free? And then here comes the police roping it off like it's a crime scene. A bunch of wigs and shoes and purses and makeup. Nope, don't touch that. Don't put your hands on that. The owners might want to come back and pick their items up. Okay, well, they didn't. Common sense should tell you there's no way they were going to come back and get 2% of that stuff, because do you know how much of a vehicle you'd have to get all that merchandise? Because I don't even know the square footage of the store. So you're talking about every little minuscule thing in the store. The items on the floor, that's purses, shoes, watches, jewelry, makeup, eyelashes, wigs, hair extensions, hair weave, whatever, clothes, jackets, hats. Now, that's not even including what's in the back room. Because naturally they would have a back room with extra items. Because I know, because I bought, hair wigs before, and she's gone in the back to go pick out a different color or something that wasn't on the floor. So naturally they have stock in the back. So you got to count the whole square footage of the place. And then you're dumping all those items out. Now, I didn't see any displays in the parking lot. As you can see, looks like just boxes. I don't know if there's any display cases or anything like that, cash register, but you get my point. They're dumping the whole store. So what I'm trying to say is it's work, number one. It's work for law enforcement to have to go in to dump the items out of the store, or whoever is hired to dump the items out, which is an all-day job, dumping the items out, okay? Now, people start flooding the parking lot. Police come, okay, it's a frenzy, roping it off like it's a crime scene. Nobody can touch anything. Then here comes the trash collection. The trash company now has to redo what's already been done. Pay attention now. They've got to now load all this stuff up onto a truck because the law says nobody can touch the items. Because the law says the people who own it need to come get it, may come get it. But what doesn't make any sense is that you're contradicting the law by sending the trash truck. You can't say the people can't touch the items because the owner has the right to come retrieve the items, but yet you've called a trash truck to come pick up the items to take to the landfill. Okay, well then where are the rights for the owner of the items? So you're lying basically when you say, hey, you're a citizen, you can't touch these items. The owner has a right to come get his or her stuff. But then yet you'll call the trash company to come pick up the items, put on a nasty truck, and then take it to a nasty landfill. And then they have the audacity to say, hey, don't go to the landfill and get these items because we're going to be watching the landfill. What the hell? Ain't nobody getting ready to go to no damn nasty landfill to get no wigs, makeup. A landfill is disgusting. Putting it out on the parking lot is one thing, but not going to the landfill. I'm not going to go ride to the landfill, a nasty landfill where people, dead carcasses, boo-boo, and all that type of stuff is in there just to get a wig and some makeup. Come on. Now, I'm not saying a person wouldn't trample through that, but once it hits that landfill, it stinks. So you understand what I'm saying. But to say, oh, don't go to the landfill, we're dumping this stuff at the landfill, this is crazy. Oh, Scholar said somebody on the TikTok said the owner had died and it was handed down to the family. Okay. Well, the family should have went in and had a sign put up. That's where I'm going with that. Whomever had ownership of the property, the store, before the eviction, all you had to do was put up signs. Doesn't cost a lot of money to buy poster boards. Put an advertisement up online to say, hey, we're liquidating the store, owner has died, or we're selling the merchandise. You don't even have to tell all, the real reason why the store is befallen. Just say, we're liquidating the items at half price, 20% off, 30% off. And a lot of stores do that when they go out of business for whatever reason. Each day they take a percentage off until there's nothing left in the store. That's what these people should have done. Whoever had access to the items in the store should have liquidated the items. Liquidated the items. And if that meant they came in with $1, $2, you ain't charging no tax. Do you understand what I'm saying? And definitely, I would have made sure cash only. This is a cash only transaction. We're liquidating the store. Everything must go cash only. No checks. No credit cards. This is crazy to me. But what's even more crazy is the judge saying, well, hey, you, random person, don't touch that. Don't put your hands on that. Don't touch it. But then here comes the trash company coming to dump the stuff pick up the stuff to only take it to the landfill. So then where are the rights for the person who owns the store? Because you can't have it both ways. You can't say, hey, stranger, don't touch those items, because the owner has a right to come retrieve the items, but then yet you call the trash company to come pick up the items to only take to the landfill. So how is the owner going to get his or her items if they're now on a dump truck, a nasty dump truck? And you know a dump truck is nasty. So imagine all those goods, clothes, shoes, purses, wigs, hair extensions, hair products, makeup, costume jewelry. Because as someone said, hey, they don't just sell wigs and hair extensions, they sell on top of things. Of course. All that stuff now dumped at a landfill. Somebody in Georgia could have used those items. And that's what's so despicable about putting it on a dump truck. It is hard times. People are barely living, people are barely making it. Rent is high, mortgages are high, products are high. I can say that for the products I use. Setting lotion's gone up, oil sheen spray's gone up. I've never paid $5 for oil sheen. Well, I pay for it now, and I don't have any choice but to pay it. Didn't even have perms in the store the past 2-3 weeks when I've been looking. Dollar General didn't have it. Go to Walmart, same brand I'm looking for, they were out, which I thought was strange. What? How are both of the stores out of the same perm that I use? So I end up having to pay a little more money for another brand. Because maybe things are about to get really tight. As far as merchandise, making it to the stores. So think about that. If I've been going to the store every other week to purchase a relaxer for my hair, and the Dollar General was out of it, Walmart was out of it, same brand, what does that tell you? We're in dire straits as far as getting certain type of products to use. And then here go these stupid people down here in Georgia, stupid judge, gonna put the police on the street to guard some cheap shit in China. Why in the world would you throw out merchandise and then allow it to be picked up by a dump truck and taken to a landfill? It makes no sense to me. None. And like I said, I don't know the square footage of the business, but the point is, it's still merchandise. And somebody could have used those items for himself, herself, giving his gifts to somebody. People on a limited income needing, hair extensions, wigs, makeup. They could use those items. And hell, if they decide they want to take it and resell it, hey, that's on them. Who cares? Like they say, free. But as you see, free ain't really free. But I have seen that happen before. In an apartment complex I lived in many moons ago, they had set items out from a person who was evicted, and it was said that you couldn't touch the items, until a certain time. But I do remember during that early part of the day, people were pilfering through the items and taking the items, and it was nowhere near 4 o'clock or 5 p.m. My thing is this. Don't get in that situation of having to get your things put out to the street. I understand everybody has different type of situations where they get evicted from an apartment for whatever reason. But what I'm saying is, once you know you're being evicted, you then go to court to see if you can stay in the place or get an extension in the place. Once you get a due date to be out of the place, you need to make provisions for your belongings. You do not wait until the last minute to get your things out of a house, a home, apartment, trailer, or a business. I don't advise it because anything can happen. Tornado, thunderstorm, hurricane, and you wait till the last minute. Now, nobody can come help you. Somebody's truck down, somebody had to work, and now all your good valuables are in this house, and you've got to be out by tomorrow, and you haven't lifted anything out of there. This is why you get things out in a timely fashion, so you won't have your valuables sitting on the street. Because usually in an apartment complex or home, the maintenance workers are the ones who take all your items and sit them outside. And it's up to the landlord to decide if they, really want to adhere to the law and not let people pilfer through. Landlord's got to sit there and watch, or apartment manager's going to sit there and watch for hours your things outside until 4 or 5 o'clock. No, I don't see that happening. No landlord's going to sit outside in an apartment complex and watch to see who's going to take something that's been set out. But you see, in this instance, they actually called in the cavalry, called in police officers, roped it off the parking lot to make sure nobody touched those items. Now, they mentioned another business, some type of bar that was liquidated as well, evicted. And you see nobody was stopping those people from getting the items. I didn't hear that was mentioned. They said they put out furniture, liquor, other items from the bar or the business, and the people were taking it off. So isn't that amazing? 2 separate businesses, same day, evicted. This issue was over who had ownership of the property, which doesn't make any sense. But nonetheless, that's probably some mess about some money too. Somebody, weren't paying their due bill. And the items were put outside and the people freely took the items because that's what people are going to do. Because it's common sense. Nobody's going to sit outside all day to watch a liquor bottle, a chair, a cash register, a painting for 7-8 hours. Nobody's going to do that. And as you heard with this beauty mart, they were behind on the rent, $15,000 owed. So naturally, the person that owns the shopping center, he or she, they have bills to pay as well. And that's what people need to understand about owing rent. These people have bills as well. So when they allow you not to pay your rent, your mortgage on a business or a home, they are losing money because 9 times out of 10, they have a mortgage on that business, building, home themselves. And then you're paying them rent, and the money you pay them is what they take to the bank to pay the bank. And a lot of people don't think about that. But that's the whole point. When you get yourself in a dire situation, you're not worried about the landlord or the owner or who has to go pay a mortgage on the house, the business, because you can't pay them. So you're worried about yourself. This is a jacked up situation because, as I said, each story here has its own, reasons for why the items were put to the street. But you see a different scenario happen. Beauty store, items put to the street. Police comes in because it got too hectic, I guess, so many people coming down, word of mouth. They rope it off. Nobody can take anything. Dump trucks come, take the merchandise to the landfill, which is just preposterous and just, to me, utterly disrespectful. Because you got to think about how long it takes to get these items. 9 times out of 10, all those items came from China. They're shipped in on a ship. It's ridiculous. Then the other situation is same state, different location. A business goes belly up and they sit their stuff outside and there's nobody there telling you, hey, don't touch that liquor bottle. Hey, don't touch that chair. Exactly. So what's the difference between that bar and this beauty store? Because it's both businesses are in the state of Georgia and the law should stand the same in both jurisdictions. This is why I tell you, it's what you allow. It's what the people allow. The person that owns the shopping center or the building itself, it's what they allow. And I just think this was a disgrace to throw out an entire store's merchandise, throw it out to the ground in a public parking lot. Police shows up, ropes it off, tells the citizens they can't have the items because the owner has a right to come and retrieve the items, but yet the owner does not show up, because I did not hear that the owner showed up. And then the dump trucks are called in to wheel the stuff off to the landfill. How does that make any type of damn sense? So you all weren't concerned about the owner, because if you were concerned about the owner, judge, police, chief of police who gave a statement why you rendered this calling these cops out to guard this cheap shit from China, you are a hypocrite. Because you didn't care anything about the owner getting their things thrown out. Because if you did, you would have waited to see if the owner ever showed up. And then at a certain time, say, well, 4 or 5 o'clock, the owner don't show up. The people are free to take the stuff. And this is what happens when you throw things out. It makes a mess. That's another thing. Leaves a mess. And in the end, somebody's got to clean that up. And that will be on the owner of the shopping center. He or she would have to call somebody in to pick up the residue of whatever was left behind of the items that were discarded out. So it's a headache either way. But I'm sure the person who owns the shopping center, they didn't care once the stuff got put out. They want the people to come get it because that's less work for them to have to pay somebody to come haul that stuff out of there. So you did a disservice to, allegedly, the owner of the items that you're so concerned about legally, the person who owns the shopping center, who gladly would want that stuff off the property, and then the people in the community who could have used the items. That's my commentary, everybody. Clayton County, Georgia. Beauty Mart closed. Items discarded in the parking lot. Police shows up and tells citizens they can't touch it. And then the dump trucks are called from the local garbage company. And then that stuff is repacked up and carted off to a landfill. And the citizens were told they can't even go to the landfill to get the items, that they would have it, somebody watching. Are you hearing this? Who the hell's getting ready to sit around a landfill watching to see if somebody's getting ready to come to the landfill to steal the stuff? Because I would assume a landfill will be, gated up. The entire property will be gated up. As not to have pilfers, I'm assuming. But I don't think too many people are going to go over to a landfill where they know it's germs and nasty and filth just to get some wigs, hair products, so on and so forth. Come on now. Let's keep it real. Yeah, exactly. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you, Skylar, for tuning into the live stream. Please go to the Newsbreak app to check out the Queen's uploads over there. I put up posts and uploads on the Newsbreak app. They have showed me, the people over there who read the content have showed the Queen much love and favor. I've got one video standing at about 18,000 views. So I'm very proud of myself, and I'm very happy for the people who have allowed me to share my thoughts and my commentary on the Newsbreak app. And I want to thank the Newsbreak app for allowing me to post on their network. And thank you all who have followed the Queen over there. Followed the Queen over to the Newsbreak. And thank you for the news followers on Newsbreak and those who are commenting and watching my content over there. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Big Angie, 129 Cash App. You all have a wonderful evening. I'll possibly be back later today or tonight with commentary pertaining to Sean Finnegan. He is facing a death penalty today in Clinton, Tennessee, for the murder of Jennifer Paxton. His cohort, Rebecca Dishman, she's already received a life sentence last year, plus 50 years for sexual assault of 2 children, 2 charges rather. And a jury is expected to be chosen, if not already, and the trial is supposed to last about 2 weeks. Continue to follow this network to get updates pertaining to Sean Finnegan facing the death penalty for the murder of Jennifer Paxton. Today in Clinton, Tennessee, a jury, there was supposed to be jury selection. And I'll bring you an update and keep you abreast of what's going on here in the general area. And once again, thank you all for the love and support. And also thank you for following the Queen over to the Newsbreak app. Go over there and check out the latest events. Once again, put in your location on the app and you can get the latest stories and events in your local area pertaining to news and crime, weather, so on and so forth. It is the Vault XL over there on the Newsbreak, just as it is here on YouTube. Thank you all for your time. Thank you, Miss Skyla. You all have been listening to the Vault XL.